Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a lovely and unconventional Bell & Ross, not the instrument series for which the brand is generally known. This one is a bit more classical in its composition of case and lugs and dial. It's the Bell & Ross. You ready for this one, guys? The BRV126 stainless steel but black DLC over the steel base. This is a watch featuring a NATO strap, and it's a real NATO strap underslung below the case, and a few choice accents of white and orange to go along with the dominant black. You'll also note that the watch fits well. It's not a huge timepiece, measuring 41 millimeters in diameter, not including the crown or the chronograph pushers. It's reasonably constrained from lug to lug, 51 millimeters, meaning I can advise this watch for a wrist as small as 14.5 centimeters circumference. It is measured two different ways. With the strap underneath the case back, it's 16.8 millimeters thick. If you were to throw on a conventional strap that doesn't traverse the underside of the case back, then the watch, and I mean the watch only, would be 14.1 millimeters thick, which is quite reasonable. The spacing between the lugs is a modern 22 millimeters, so the watch looks planted and contemporary on the wrist. The strap itself is a wonderful take on the NATO style, as all of the hardware is in metal, and you can see it's black DLC to match, Bell & Ross branded. It's a substantial strap with a contrasting orange border. It's thick, it's confidence inspiring to the point that you expect this strap would last you quite a few years. And I will show you underneath the case back, because after all, these videos are nothing if not revealing, but I've got to warn you, there's not a whole lot to show, as it's simply a roster of statistics and features. But that's the case back, and you can see the watch is part of a limited edition of 500 pieces. It's 100 meters water resistant, and of course the dial, remarkably minimalist, nevertheless gives you everything you will need. And although it's not part of the instrument series, it is just as legible, with a bit of an instrument style to its white on matte black dominant color palette, and of course the palette featuring a few accents of orange for the limited edition notation, as well as chronograph seconds and minutes. Sunken sub-registers, you can see they add another focal plane to the dial. There's a nicely faceted aperture for the minimalist date down at 4:30, and you can see that the sapphire is vintage evocative, designed to resemble the off-axis distortion you would get from an old-school plexiglass, a thermoplastic from the 50s, the 60s, or the 70s. The watch does feature stop seconds, so you pull the crown and it stops the seconds. It does have a quick set date as well. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's automatic winding with a 42-hour power reserve. It uses a 2892 base with a Dubois de Praz vertical clutch chronograph complication on top, which is why the chronograph pushers are not in line with the crown. It is a modular chronograph mechanism, but very tough. The timepiece is beautifully executed and just as striking as larger sports watches from the likes of Panerai, Audemars Piguet, or I would even go so far as to say this is a timepiece that could be judged a value alternative to IWC. If you're into the big, bold, modern sports watch look, you can get the boldness without the bigness in this watch, and all of the practicality. At a versatile 41 millimeters, you could wear this watch almost anywhere, and if you've got the punch, you could even wear it with a suit. Hey, what's more black tie than a black watch? See it and make it yours on the Watchbox. Bell & Ross BRV126 at night.